Hello, my friends. I'm Bee, and this is Bee's Intuition. Today, we're going to do a reading about how do you inspire others. Yes, that will be the topic. Okay, let's just dive right into it. Please and thank you, Spirit. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you. Please and thank you. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you, Spirit. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you, Spirit. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you, Spirit. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you, Spirit. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you, Spirit. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you. Okay, this feels. Okay, so we got. Ooh. I'm digging your vibes. So we have the Judgment card, the Nine of Cups, the King of Wands, excuse me. Oh, that was supposed to be away from the microphone. I burped like into it practically. Okay, anyways. Bottom of the deck is the Tower card. So honestly, I'm getting a really clear message with the Tower card. You shake things up for people, but in a good way. It's almost like a necessary shakeup of energy that you bring to the function. Okay, so let's just start clarifying. I am going to try to keep this a little bit shorter just because I'm not sure how my phone battery is gonna go and this microphone battery is gonna go, so we'll see. All right, so clarifying that Judgment card, please and thank you, Spirit. How does the collective inspire others with that Judgment card? Please and thank you. What is that Judgment card indicating when it comes to how the collective is inspiring other people? Please and thank you. How is the collective inspiring other people? Please and thank you, Spirit. How is the collective inspiring other people? Please and thank you. It's an absolutely beautiful day today. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. I feel like maybe there's one more. Please and thank you, Spirit, for that Judgment card. Anything else? Okay, maybe that's it. Sometimes I hate to see driftwood because it makes me think that there's like a drowning creature in the water, but that's just my own fears, I think. Anyways. Ooh. So, ooh. Okay, clarifying that Judgment card. We have Justice. Judgment and Justice together, that's a really strong combination. Five of Pentacles. And the Page of Wands. And then bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Swords. So that Judgment card is indicating a big shift, maybe even a possible like rebirth in your life. Shifting in a major way. You have like done something incredible here that not many people have done. There's like this transformation, rebirth energy. And not just that, but like a shifting out of maybe old ways of thinking, negative mentalities or negative, ways of thinking, ways of looking at the world. And you're moving into, or you have already moved into, a place that is much more lighthearted, much more positive, maybe even more optimistic. I really do feel like there's like this sense, because the wings are being emphasized to me with this card. And so I'm getting that you have spread your wings in some way, or just realized that you can fly. And maybe you were told your whole life that you can't fly, or, that you don't have the wings. And I'm speaking metaphorically here. But you have maybe proved other people wrong about your abilities, capabilities. That Judgment card with the Justice card, when it comes to you, I think that you are a very fair person. I do sense that, honestly, I'm getting with that Judgment card, there's like something about like a bird's eye point of view, or you see the bigger picture, I think, and it allows you to be understanding towards other people. But I don't think like you put up with BS from other people. I don't think you're gonna like, lean into people's, or encourage people to like lean into their vices, or, things that impact themselves or others negatively. You're very fair though. You know what's right and what's wrong. You like things to be balanced out. You also are a balancer. You bring balance into the lives of others. And that sword is being emphasized to me right now. So you're a truth teller. Or you reflect people's truths to them without maybe even saying a word. It's like your presence alone, or maybe just observing how you do your own life. It like puts up a mirror to others and shows them maybe the parts of themselves that they need to work on, or the areas in which they are struggling, or things along those lines. Because I think that you are a character of change in a lot of people's lives. You bring with you transformation, you bring with you change, a turning of the tide. And I feel like that could definitely be a position in which other people love or hate. They may have very strong feelings towards you because of what you reflect back to them. You could also be somebody that's kind of like, you'll give what you get, in terms of like, if somebody is disrespecting you, maybe you act in accordance to that, whether it be reflecting that, that way of interacting. Wait, what am I trying to say? I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. What was the point of that, Spirit? What was I trying to say? I think I was pretty much saying that people have very strong feelings towards you. And then I was saying something about how I can't get it. I can't get that message that was coming through. It'll come back to me eventually, I think. The Five of Pentacles. I feel like this could be... Yeah, this feels to me like insecurities. You are someone that sort of shows people their insecurities, And I don't think that this is typically intentional. Most of the time, it probably isn't. People, and maybe it's because your energy is very, like, I do feel like you either are going through some sort of purification process internally, or you have already come out on the other side of that process. And you're in a much lighter energy, maybe compared to those around you. And so I think that people naturally compare you or compare themselves to you. And if they feel like their life isn't going the way that your life is going or how they perceive your life to be going, then they may feel like a failure, or they may feel like you would judge them for not being on your level or doing the things that you're doing, accomplishing the things that you're accomplishing. But I do think that that is a misjudgment on their part. I don't think that you are judgmental, not in the petty way. I think that you do have that judgment. Like, I do sense a good sense of judgment. I think that you have, like, the ability to maybe read between the lines or see people's true intentions. And you may, judge those situations accordingly and maybe remove yourself from those situations if need be. Oh, there's some sort of critter on me. You mind, buddy? I'm trying to do something here. Oh, whatever. Just don't crawl on my face. Oh, did I scoot it? Sorry, buddy. Where'd he go? Maybe it flew away. Okay, anyways. But yeah, I think that people may naturally compare themselves to you, and so then they feel judged by you, but you're not even the person that's judging them. It's them judging them. But people could maybe even sort of put you on a pedestal to a degree, because it's like something you're doing or something you have done is the chorus of geese. I love it. Anyways, it was a little distracting, but I don't mind. Again, I lost the train of thought because the geese distracted me. I think I was just saying that people may even slightly put you on a pedestal because they look at the work you've done or are currently doing as something that's very special, something that maybe they themselves have not done. But I do think that with this Five of Pentacles, it's helpful. It's helpful for these people to maybe become conscious of their insecurities, because sometimes we may even try to push down our insecurities or ignore them, pretend they're not there. And then something will trigger us and trigger those insecurities. And that can be very tumultuous. Like, the feeling could be very tumultuous in that sort of situation. Could lead to a lot of like self-hate, self-hatred. But yeah, so that's when people try to repress or suppress their insecurities and not really acknowledge them, maybe. But then it's like you bring their attention to maybe their insecurities. And even though it would be very uncomfortable to become conscious of those insecurities, I think maybe it's even sort of necessary, because maybe, in like any sort of recovery, isn't it like the first step is to admit that you have a problem, right? So when it comes to those insecurities, maybe the reason why they are being brought to this, these people's attention is so that they can maybe look at those insecurities, maybe weigh those insecurities, the importance of those insecurities, how they impact them. Like, it's like the beginning of reflection for them. I feel like you spark something in other people and they start to think about things differently because you, I think about things differently. And it almost even feels like maybe like these aren't even like, I don't know how to explain it. Because I'm almost getting like even maybe even physical insecurities. Maybe, uh, for example, I used to hate my nose because it's quite big. um, but I've come to accept my nose. And to be honest, I sort of love my nose as it is now. Sure, I may take an unflattering pic, or when I'm editing videos, I see myself at a certain angle and I'm like, oh God, ew, you know? But I let those feelings come and go. And I acknowledge them as they come and go. So maybe, and that's the other thing too, is like, it's really rather funny to me because it's like other people that I have, been with romantically or been friends with, they love my nose. Um, and I think that, um, and actually my septum piercing is sort of like an interesting story because I used to think that if you had a big nose, like piercings would just sort of emphasize it and make it look bigger or, make it look, you know, bring up the insecurity that one already has. But to be honest, I feel like my septum piercing, since I have gotten it, I feel like it's accessorizing this part of me that I used to really dislike. And I feel like that can be empowering in and of itself. Um, and the other thing too is like, in the ultimate grand scheme of things, having a big nose at the end of the day does not mean anything. Just like having a small nose doesn't. Here. Um, just like having a small nose doesn't really mean anything. And I mean, yeah, sure, maybe I don't meet certain beauty standards because of my nose, its shape, and its size. But do those societal expectations or beauty standards, do they make people happy? You know what I mean? And does it actually mean something to you? Because it's like kind of is making me even kind of think about those what is it, like botched TV shows that kind of explore people that have like addictions to maybe plastic surgery, or they got some bad work done and they're like dealing with the repercussions of that. And my heart does go out to those people because I know that when I was younger, I wanted to get a nose job to get rid of my nose. Um, and I'm glad that I didn't. But some people may go overboard and, they get one nose job, but then they're like, it's still too big. I want it to look smaller. And then they're like, okay, another nose job. And it's like, it's still too big. I need it smaller. And then it's like, before you know it, your nose is like the size of a pinky tip. And you're like, okay, like that looks strange. Um, or that maybe a little bit taking it a little too far, perhaps. And it's like, it just seems kind of silly that we put ourselves through these types of, I don't know, I guess trials of, where am I going with this? I think we just emphasize certain insecurities more than others, maybe. Because it's like those superficial insecurities, they don't truly matter in the grand scheme of things. Especially, like, I brought this up in the last message of the last reading that I did. And it was something along the lines of, what truly matters is not the physical. And sure, there's societal expectations and pretty privilege and stuff like that. But at the end of one's lifetime, these physical aspects to ourselves don't really mean a lot. I think it's way more important to focus on maybe the internal insecurities, where it's like maybe, how do you treat other people? How do you show up in the lives of others? How do you best support people? How do you show up as your best self? And if you feel like you're not showing up as your best self, or you're not as kind to others as you would like to be, those may be the sort of insecurities that are, being brought to light for these other people. And then they can actually start working on those things. Like if I decide today that I want to be nicer to people, maybe I'll start to smile at people that walk by. And maybe just operate out of a place of kindness because I want to be kind. I want to be anyways, I'm getting distracted again. But yeah, so yeah, I just want to emphasize, because I feel like as a society we really emphasize way too much physical beauty and the value of that. And our fleshy vessels in this lifetime are so fragile and temporary. Like I literally could get caught in a fire tomorrow or a horrible car accident, and all of this could be gone. And so it's like, what do you have if you have none of this? You have your heart, you have your soul. And is your heart and your soul, are they in the right place? Are they something that you're proud of? Do they help show you your own worth and the positive aspects of you? Because and maybe it's just because I'm spiritual that I have this way of thinking, but I do. And for me personally, it's like society like sort of makes us feel like we have to be a certain way in order to be lovable or respected, and that's obviously not true. And so I just kind of want to remind people that it's not what's on the outside that counts or matters. And it is truly your heart, your soul, your inner world. And then it maybe even extending that a little bit further, not just how you impact others, but how do you impact yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Are you judgmental of yourself? Do you really beat up yourself if you make a mistake? I feel like maybe there's something about that too, is like how to maybe even overcome certain insecurities. And maybe people, they admire that about you, that you have that ability. Because sometimes people can hold on to a insecurity for their whole life, never letting go. And that does not sound like a good place to be, you know? Especially because it's keeping you from loving yourself fully, those insecurities. Um, so I think that you bring awareness to people's insecurities, but it's very good because I think it's necessary for their own growth. And so you, I think, could definitely spark a lot of people's journeys, those internal journeys, spiritual journey, self improvement journey, self love journey. I do feel like this sense of you triggering some positive change in people's lives. And at first, it may be uncomfortable. It may bring up those insecurities, trigger those, things inside of you. But it's like the beginning of improvement to one's life and maybe mindsets. And then we have that Page of Wands. And going from the Five of Pentacles to the Page of Wands, I actually, it almost even feels like part of this process is accepting your flaws, accepting the things within you that either you cannot improve on or you can't change. And I think you very much inspire other people to think more positively about themselves, about their surroundings. I'm also getting, I don't know why, but this Page of Wands is almost hitting me as like a trailblazer. Somebody that goes where no man has ever gone before. Um, because like when I look at this Page of Wands, it's like a whole desert in the background. But he has this staff that is like blooming, it has like leaves popping out of it. It's very full of life. And the Page of Wands is an optimistic character. And so I sometimes look at the Page of Wands as, sure, this environment may be desolate and not full of life, but I can make it become that because I have the right mentality, I have the right attitude. And I believe that I can make the impossible possible, which was another message from the last reading I did. And so I honestly am getting that, like, you inspire people to maybe accept the parts of themselves that they thought were significant in some way. Like, I'm thinking physical insecurities at this point, like the things that we can't really change, or, because not everybody has the money for plastic surgery to fix their nose or something, but there's like something about how you're showing up that it really inspires other people to think about things more positively. And when it comes to those insecurities that we can change, those like internal ones maybe, we you may you may inspire other people to work on those insecurities that they can actually work on. And maybe you're also bringing awareness to people, because maybe some people think that there's certain parts of themselves within that they feel like they can't change, that they feel like they have no control over. But maybe you're showing people that we have much more control over our inner world than we may realize at times. I don't know why. I just want to like randomly check to make sure this is recording. I feel like it is, but I just want to. Yes, it is. Okay. That would be so embarrassing if I've been like talking to an empty camera, or like, a camera that was not recording. I'm gonna put on my sweatshirt. It's getting a little chilly. Little chilly. Um, I think that you do change people's mindsets. Like I was just saying, it feels like you're this mirror that shows people their insecurities, and then these people explore those insecurities. Like, is this something that I can realistically change about myself? Or is this something that maybe I thought that I couldn't change, but I actually can change it? I think you almost lead by example because you have maybe gone through that process of. Oh, I just realized I covered up the microphone completely. I don't know if it's that sensitive that it didn't catch anything I was saying, but we'll see when I'm editing. um, yeah, you reflect people's insecurities back to them so that they can start to dig deeper into those insecurities. Um, and for the better, so that they can either improve upon those that they can change for the better or accept those things that they can't change. Yeah, there is something about you that is very much a trailblazer. You are the blueprint to a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people kind of look at you or look to you when it comes to like if they want to improve themselves, they kind of like look at what you're doing, how you've been working on yourself maybe. And then obviously that inspires them to do similar. Um, yeah. And then bottom of the deck with that Knight of Swords. You're somebody that moves with purpose. You have a special kind of energy that I feel like people really admire. I honestly am even getting like adaptability. Like maybe you roll with things, you lean into the natural flow of life. And I'm getting like this what is that word I'm looking for? It's not impulsive, it's something close to that though. You could be the type of person, mm, maybe depending on what it is. You could be the person that say a friend randomly like messages you at a really weird time of day and they're like, let's hang out. And you're just like, you know what? I will. You could just be somebody that's like, that leans into opportunities. People may perceive that as being impulsive, but I don't think it's recklessly impulsive. It's more so you don't want to hold yourself back from maybe experiencing life or things that are good and positive. People, I think, also see you as somebody that has a very clear mind. Maybe you have goals in mind for yourself or for your life that people see you going towards those things and you're going forward towards those things with so much passion and energy and determination. And I feel like that really inspires other people to do similarly. I think that there is something about like a risk taking energy with you. You're not afraid to take a risk, but maybe it's a calculated risk, not just like willy nilly like randomly jump off this cliff. Like no, like like an actual you know reasonable risk within reason. I do get that there's something here about your communication. I do get this sense that you're a truth teller, which not everybody likes a truth teller because again, it can show people maybe the sides of themselves that they wanted to ignore. and not face. Or there's like some sort of reality that they don't want to accept. Also, maybe you're like somebody that feels very empowered when you're sharing things with other people, like information, conversations, communication. You could be a very passionate speaker, I'm getting. You may make a really good public speaker. And maybe it's something to do with your life story. Like I'm seeing a TED talk in my mind. You could be a really good inspirational speaker, motivational speaker. And even when things feel like they are moving against you, or say like it feels like the universe is like conspiring against you, you're still going to go for the things that you really care about. And I think that that also stands out to other people because I think that's a rare quality to have. You know, fears and anxieties, it's surprising sometimes how much they can really rule our lives and prevent us from, you know, going towards the things that are meant for us or trying our best to overcome challenges that we're meant to overcome. Uh, yeah. I want to see what's underneath that Knight of Swords. Nine of Cups. You have this way of being content within yourself that people really like. You've also built up a lot of maybe self love on your journey, or maybe at the very least, just self acceptance. I do get this sense of like contentment and sort of a relaxed nature to you that people will see. There's something about you being contented in life. And maybe some people envy that, but also some people are inspired by that and they would like to do what you have done to achieve that in your life. Yeah, you very much lead by example, I'm getting. You also could emotionally fulfill a lot of other people, whether that be friends, family, partners. Like you are a very important person in the lives of others. Yeah. Oh, funnily enough, we have the Nine of Cups that we're about to clarify. Yeah, let's clarify that Nine of Cups. Please and thank you, Spirit. Okay, that one didn't come out, so I'm not gonna take it. Please and thank you. Can you clarify that Nine of Cups? How does the collective inspire others? Please and thank you. How does the collective inspire others? Okay, this is probably way too much. You know what? I'm gonna just roll with it because maybe there's a story here. Oh, interesting. Okay. So clarifying that Nine of Cups, we have the Lovers, Knight of Wands, the Magician, Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, then bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. You are like a wise leader in some area of your life. I feel like it could definitely be spiritual or in regards to your self-improvement. This is really beautiful. So the Nine of Cups energy that I was picking up with when we saw the Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck, there was that message of like you being contented in life and people really admiring that and kind of wanting that for themselves as well. The Lovers card, although it can definitely deal with like soulmates and stuff, it doesn't always have to be related to soulmates. And it could also be indicating the choices that you've been making in your life. I do see you making better and better choices for yourself. Maybe in the past you didn't always make the best choices for yourself, but it's like now you have been making better choices for yourself. And this is something that people see and admire. You would inspire other people to do the right thing. That's what I feel. And not just like the right thing in regards to interactions with other people, but maybe the right thing to do for them, you know? Like I'm even getting like something to do with boundary setting here, or, you know, you could definitely be the type of person that, poop. I don't know why my brain is like this today. It's not thinking. It's not working. Ooh. I hope I can remember it when I'm editing because it's just not there anymore. Gotta love the brain fog. Oh, I think that's where I was going. Is like say somebody is dedicated to another person, say their family, or they're your best friend you've had since you were 9, or, you know, your partner. But it's like if that person is toxic, maybe they typically ignore the red flags and kind of just try to push through, or, you know, if they are abusive or toxic in some way and it really negatively impacts you, you move away from those types of people because you know what's best for you and your own health and well-being. And I think that that also inspires other people to do similarly, whereas maybe in the past they would have just put up with that for the rest of their life, I guess. But you're coming in to show people that it's okay to put up boundaries with other people. It's okay to take a step back from people that are actively hurting you. And that's a whole nother thing too, is like sometimes we perceive those those hurts from others as, oh, no, I'm losing it again. No. What was it? Spirit, please. I can't remember. I'll try and edit it in because I really can't remember what it was. But then the Knight of Wands, you could be someone that moves with passion, or you move towards the things that you're passionate about. Very passion driven. I'm also getting something about creativity as well, which could also be a part of the Knight of Swords that we just saw not too long ago. Let me just reposition. My legs are starting to fall asleep. Let's see. You also like have a very charismatic like energy to you that people admire. Some people could envy it. You're not afraid to go towards the things that mean something to you, and that inspires other people. Like I'm even getting this sense of like you put on a brave face, because it's like maybe you have certain goals and stuff that are look almost impossible or something, but you still try your best to rise to the occasion. You're not going to let your fears hold you back. Even if you're shaking in your pants or you're shaking in your boots, that's the phrase. You're like shaking in your little boots about something, like really afraid of failing at this thing. You're still going to try anyways. And people see that. The Magician. People see you manifesting the life that you want, or they see you as somebody that's incredibly powerful, very spiritually tapped in. And that spiritual connection helps you manifest or helps you bring something. Oh no, I'm so sorry, buddy. I might have squished him. I'm sorry. Oh no, he's still moving. He's okay. Maybe he just like froze in fear. I didn't mean to hurt him. Anyways. There's something about you bringing life into your life or the lives of others. And I mean that as like a fresh sense of life. The optimistic parts of life. Like you feed yourself and others. I'm kidding. I don't know why, but this greenery and the roses are very much being emphasized to me. But I'm not really sure why yet. This might mean something to somebody out there. Roses, green leaves, a garden maybe. Something to do with a garden. Like you are improving the garden of your life, or I don't know. You bring life into certain situations. The Ace of Pentacles. I feel like that Ace of Pentacles could definitely go hand in hand with the Knight of Pentacles that came after it. There's this message about slow and steady wins the race. And you see how something can turn out in a positive way before you get started on it. Maybe this is even slightly a form of manifestation where you sort of imagine what it would be like to maybe have the lifestyle that you want out of life, that you want in life. Like kind of picturing it in your mind so that you can bring it into reality. Because it's like something may start out as a little seed, and it's a very, easily overlooked seed because it's not the plant yet, but you know that seed is going to turn into maybe an orange tree, and it's going to give so much to everyone, and feed people and do wonderful things, create positive change. I do think that you're quite methodical. You like to think things out, maybe before acting, which seems very smart. You could have like an intuition when it comes to like, okay, is it time for me to act now, or is it time for me to maybe take a little break or embody a different sort of energy? And I'm also getting this message about like if you're unsure or like that something is not gonna turn out well, you stand your ground and you kind of like you don't let those things affect you. Maybe maybe you separate yourself from these situations or take a break from them. I also am getting a sort of observant energy with the Knight of Pentacles here. You like to watch people in the way of seeing what they do. And maybe that has to do with something of like seeing the authenticity of other people. If they walk the walk and talk the talk, or talk the talk and walk the walk. Um, Especially before you invest. I think I don't know why, but I'm getting like a social aspect to that feeling of investing. It feels like people, like connections with others. And it's like, do I see myself being happy in that situation? And if not, maybe I need to think this through a little bit more or look at a different perspective. And I think there's a preparedness too with that Knight of Pentacles. You like to prepare yourself for the unexpected, maybe, so that you're just always ready. Or you can try to be that way, yeah. And then the last card that came out for that Nine of Cups, we have the Nine of Swords. So 9 or nines in general could be significant for someone out there. Oh, where did I? Okay, still there. I realize I zipped up my hoodie without realizing where my microphone is. Anyways. This Nine of Swords is a very interesting energy. So maybe the way that you deal with your traumas or the ways that you deal with your mental health are very inspiring to other people. Maybe you've overcome a lot of mental health challenges or overcome the after effects of trauma, maybe. Like you've healed yourself, or maybe you're actively healing yourself. Well, nobody's ever 100% healed, right? But you try really, really hard to heal and not let those mental health issues or past circumstances, you try not to let them really truly affect you and how you live your life. And it is quite interesting with this Nine of Swords because it almost looks like, this person's very vulnerable in this moment. I believe that the story is that, this person was having a nightmare and then they woke up. And I've also heard that, they had a nightmare and then they wake up and they're still in that nightmare. But if you just even think about it as like just having a nightmare, waking up, and then, feeling the feelings of that nightmare, still lingering. To me, it's almost like there's a certain feeling of vulnerability that you show up with. And I feel like that vulnerability only just, it helps to, I don't know, people like that. People like that you're vulnerable. I think you may be somebody that's very open with your mental health or challenges that you have experienced or the after effects of, the trauma that you've gone through. It feels like you are not afraid to admit that you struggle. You're not afraid to admit that, at times maybe your brain is your own worst enemy. And I feel like that vulnerability really makes an impact because you're not trying to say like, just do this. It was so easy for me, or you're not like, you're not trying to hide those parts of yourself or act like those parts of yourself don't exist. Like, oh yes, I've never had a mental health issue in my whole life. It's wonderful. Like, no, you're not that type of person. You're going to be like, yeah, I deal with anxiety every day and I find ways to cope. It could be something like that. Or maybe you share your life story with other people. And I feel like people that know your backstory and the way that you're showing up now, they're very impressed. And I feel like that is also very inspiring. Like you're honest about yourself and your history. And your struggles. You don't act like you have everything figured out, because I don't think many of us have everything figured out, right? Um, and you don't try to act grander than anyone else or put yourself on a pedestal. I feel like there's something very real and raw about you that people actually really like. And maybe it's almost rare for people to be so forthright and honest. It really does mean something. The way in which you show up in that vulnerable way, it really makes your journey feel much more achievable to these people, or much more possible, because it's like, okay, if this person also struggles with mental health, maybe I could try my best to, you know, find healthy coping skills for my mental health, or try to seek out resources to help with my mental health. Yeah, because you show people that even if you're struggling, it's still possible for you to improve your life, and you don't have to be perfect all the time. You don't have to be smiling all the time. You don't have to embrace toxic positivity, because sometimes things are just really crummy. Sometimes we're in circumstances that are really crummy. Sometimes we're surrounded by people that do not have our best interest at heart. Um, we go through challenges and, those types of things all the time. And I feel like your honesty, your realness about that, it helps people feel like if they can do it, I can do it, kind of thing. You know? I really do love that. And then with the hermit at the bottom of the deck, like you are this like wise leader that has a lot of experience under your belt. You have a lot of wisdom, and it feels like it's coming from your experiences. You have found your guiding light within, and I feel like you want other people to find their inner light within. And that inner light could be maybe positivity or something like that. But also, I'm getting it's like a guiding star for you. So maybe finding one's purpose, or what someone wants to move towards ultimately in their life, or what they want their life to look like, what they truly want their life to look like, not just based off of societal expectations. You really encourage people to like go on this journey and seeking that wisdom within. And I feel like it opens up people's minds. Maybe they didn't even realize that they could gain knowledge from simply going within. And you're here to say, like, I did it, and maybe you still continue to do it. Um, check in with yourself, dive deep. Um, and people are like, maybe there's something to this. Because I do believe that people see you as someone that kind of knows what they're talking about. Yeah, and it's like because you have had firsthand experience with these things. People know that you're not just full of BS, and you're not just like reading off a script or something. You're real. There's something very real about you that I feel like people love. And it inspires them maybe to be more authentic, more genuine to themselves, to their desires. Let's see what's underneath that hermit card. Eight of Cups. I think that combined with the Hermit, that's a pretty powerful combination as well. With the Eight of Cups, I sometimes get the message of you choosing yourself, your own happiness, your own health, even if that means walking away from things that you didn't want to walk away from, because you know ultimately it's what's best for you and what you want out of life. And if something's not making you happy, if it's no longer giving you a sense of fulfillment or giving back to you in any positive way, you're going to leave it behind, and you inspire other people to do the same thing. And again, it's like leading by example. You show people that, I didn't want to leave behind this crummy situation I was in, but I did it because it's for my ultimate good. Maybe my own health, my own well-being. And that's enough to make that difficult decision. So you embrace people to lean into, their own happiness, their own contentment within their own life and their circumstances. You really encourage people to really look within. And people, I think, find a lot of use out of doing that internal work. And you make it sound like it's much easier, maybe more accessible, to do that sort of work within. Yeah. There's something about accessibility. You make these things seem accessible, and that's maybe something that people thought could never happen. Or that something was not accessible to them, but you're showing them that it is accessible for them. And they can do it too. Okay, let's go on to the King of Wands now. Clarify that. Please and thank you, Spirit. Can you clarify that King of Wands as to how the collective is inspiring others? Please and thank you, Spirit. That King of Wands. Please and thank you, Spirit. King of Wands. Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else for that King of Wands? Please and thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Okay, let's see now. What do we got here? Clarifying that King of Wands, we have the Four of Cups, the Ten of Swords, the King of Swords, Ten of Wands, Page of Cups. Bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups. You definitely are seen as an authority in some area of your life. People see you as like the master of something, or you're very powerful in a certain area of your life, and people pick up on that, or they see that in you. With the Four of Cups, it feels like I was getting the message earlier about boundary setting. You've learned to put up boundaries with others. You've learned to not just accept just anything or anyone. You have standards. You're selective with the people that come into your life. And I think that comes from that inner knowledge of self. What is it that you believe in? What is it that you stand for? And what is it that you won't stand for? And that is something that you lead by example with. People see you doing that hard, making those difficult decisions, perhaps. Making those boundaries, maybe removing people that don't serve you or not accepting people that don't serve you. And then the Ten of Swords, you have gone through so much pain. And it feels like maybe this pain was caused by people in your own life. Maybe people that you were even close to at one point. And so it's like you've reached your rock bottom at least once in your life. And you've had to build yourself back up. And that whole process, and it inspires other people. You didn't stay in your rock bottom forever. Something about resilience as well with that card. You're very resilient. People see that. And your resilience gives you power. Then the King of Swords. To me, that's kind of coming across as like you knowing when it's time to be logical and not just in the heart space, or not just in the, not just acting out of emotions. You have this logical side to you. You're also very knowledgeable. People see that. Also, again, I'm getting like you are the authority in some area of your life. And maybe that has to do with communication or speaking the truth, sharing information, teaching other people, leaning into logic over emotions. But I don't want to say that you're completely logical and not tapped into your emotions at all, because I don't think that's at all the case in this reading. This is all clarifying the King of Wands. And the King of Wands, although he is, somebody that's confident, professional, and all that good stuff, he still has that heart space, and he probably moves in a lot of ways in that heart space. Like, what makes me happy? What makes me feel that sense of passion and excitement? So whereas you do have that emotional, maybe more passion driven side, you also have that logical side. And I think that creates a beautiful balance within you. People see that and they appreciate that, and they're very inspired by that. The Ten of Wands, you're a very hard worker. You may also be somebody that has a lot of responsibility. Oh, yes. So you are probably a very hard worker, or you have a lot of responsibilities. But it's almost like there's a way that you are with those responsibilities that shows you, this is going to sound so strange, but it's like that kind of proves that you are worthy of those responsibilities. Because if you think about it, if you're moving up in the world or moving into a higher position, maybe in a career or something, there's going to be maybe more than likely there's going to be more responsibilities that come with that upgrade. And like you have this way of like managing things, organizing things. You're very responsible, I feel. That's what people see. Like, no matter what you have going on in your life, no matter how many burdens you carry, or things you have on your plate, responsibilities on your plate, you're always acting out of a place of, I want to say earnestness, but I don't know if that's a word or the word that I'm trying to find. Like I don't even know how to word what I'm trying to say. It's like you still keep pushing because you like maybe you have a confidence inside of you of like, I know that I can handle these things. And of course you're human, so it doesn't have to be like you're always thinking that way. There's like a can-do attitude I'm picking up on with that 10 of wands. Also, it's been a long journey for you. This hasn't been like an overnight transformation for you. And maybe you tell people, because maybe some people almost assume that you're done with your self-growth, or you're like on the other side of your healing or something. People may make those types of assumptions, but I think that you're very much still on that journey and still learning new things each and every day. The Page of Cups. You have this ability to make other people feel loved. It almost even feels a little bit magical, the way you make other people feel. You could give other people butterflies, or just make people want to be around you, want to hear what you have to say. You speak to the people's heart. You speak to people's hearts. And I think it really reaches them. It really makes an impact. There is a sense of humbleness I'm getting, because we've had the Page of Wands and now the Page of Cups. It really does kind of give that feeling of like, you're not on a pedestal or you're not standing on something and preaching down at people. You're on their level with them because you know what it's like to be in their shoes. And the way in which you show up in that authentic and raw and real way is very inspiring to other people. Because it's like, okay, this person actually understands me, or can understand certain parts of my experience. You may also help people to find the magic within themselves. Maybe they see you as a very magical person, but they think themselves as like, oh, I could never do that kind of thing. But maybe you're like, you can do this too. The power that I have possessed, that is within me, is something that you can also possess within yourself as well. Yeah. Also, you remind people of the magic of life. I think that sometimes we can get so wrapped up in the mundane in our lives. You help people to see, like the ability to make things magical, the ability to change things around for ourselves. That's very inspiring to other people. You let people know their potential, and maybe sometimes you tell people their potential, and you're the only person that has ever said that to a person. Maybe that person that you're saying, you can see their potential, maybe they've never heard that in their entire life. And so it's important that you are telling people about their potential, and that they are capable and able, and they can make great change for the better in their life. You open people's eyes, and it's so beautiful. And it's almost like they're seeing for the first time. You help people see things completely differently. Ace of Cups, you're a very kind and loving soul. I feel like you're somebody that very much shows up for your friends, your family, those who are really close to you. But even so, I'm even getting like maybe you also are supportive of other people that are not in your friends and family in your close circle. You may show up for other people in a very loving way as well. You really have so much love to give here. Like it literally overflows. You have so much love. You have a big, beautiful heart and so much love to give. And that love can feed so many people, can feed humanity. You show people that love and showing up in a loving energy, it is not a weakness, it is a strength. People that may think the only way to get through life is to be cruel or to suppress their feelings or to pretend that they don't even have feelings, you know? Um, you show people that your feelings are good. Your feelings are worth feeling, and they're not a weakness, they're a strength. And people can show up in a kind, compassionate way, and that helps improve the humanity, helps improve the world when we show up in a kind and compassionate way. I want to see what's underneath that Ace of Cups. Page of Pentacles, so another page. Yes, you are a very humble person. You say to people, I know what it's like to start from the very beginning or start something from scratch, having to build yourself up over time. And you tell people that it's okay if this process takes time because it took time for me too, you know? And again, it helps people feel like if they can do it, I can do it. And maybe they've never thought that way before. But you help people to see that. Again, you help people to see the true potential in them. And maybe you're the first person to show that person that, you know? And it makes a big impact. Speaking of a big impact, we have the Tower card at the bottom of this deck. I really do feel like you strike people like a what is it called? Like a strike of lightning. I can't think of the right word. um, you hit people like a there's a word for it, of course, but I can't remember. You hit people like lightning, catches them off guard. Maybe they don't see it coming, but you, like I'm getting now in my mind a domino, like a domino effect. I think is kind of what it is. It's like when you line up all the dominoes and then you push one over and then the rest fall. Um, you're like that initial trigger for a lot of people. You bring the change, you bring the awareness, and so many good things follow after that. And maybe it scares people to a degree because it's a change, it's something that is not in their comfort zones typically, but it's almost like necessary change, necessary um, like the Tower can be like your old belief system crumbles so that you can build up a new belief system, or something in your life crumbles. But typically with the Tower, that thing is crumbling because it wasn't built on a good, sturdy foundation in the first place. You help people to see what was built on a good foundation and what was not. And then you inspire them to act accordingly with that. The geese are flying away. They're so cute. Anyways, yeah. Let's see what's underneath that tower card. Four of Wands. You help people to celebrate themselves. You help people to celebrate even maybe the smallest little accomplishments in life. You help people to see that every accomplishment is worth celebrating, not just the big ones, but the little wins too. You help people to see that, even when they feel like they're doing the bare minimum and they're failing at their own expectations of themselves, you're there to remind them that, the smallest little, like, say somebody has depression, for example, and, they can't really do the things that maybe they expect themselves to do. Maybe they expect themselves to, I'll just give like a random example. Maybe they can't shower because they're so depressed, but maybe they're able to brush their teeth, and like, you are there to be like, hey, that's worth celebrating. The fact that you brushed your teeth today, I'm very proud of you. Like, you can actually tell people that you're proud of them, and that is something that really changes, like, these people, because, like, sometimes people have never heard that somebody's proud of them, and that breaks my heart, because I think that is so important, to just feel like your accomplishments, no matter how small, are being validated in some way. And of course, you can validate yourself, but I feel like it's sometimes even more powerful when it comes from an outside person telling you, like, hey, I'm very proud of you for doing this thing, overcoming this thing. Yeah. Ooh, people really like you. Like, the people that understand your mission, like the people that don't try to misunderstand you, the people that don't, cast judgments or, whatever. The people that understand what you're here for. Oh, there's more geeseys over there. Anyways. Oh my god. I lost it. What was it? I'll try and edit it in later because I can't remember. But anyways. Yes, let's do the oracle now and see what the oracle has to say. Please and thank you, Spirit. Do you have any additional messages for the collective as to how they inspire other people? Please and thank you. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you, Spirit. How does the collective inspire other people? Please and thank you. Any other messages for the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit, to add to this beautiful reading. Ooh, okay. That's quite a lot, but I'll take them. Maybe they fell out for a reason like that. Yeah, that's quite a bit, but that's fine. All right, so we have confront, heal, trust, darkest fears, believe and succeed, third eye chakra, and then bottom of the deck we have flow. Okay. So this is representing the moon card, I believe. But the word confront is like, this kind of goes back to that insecurity message I was getting at the beginning of the reading, where you like show people their insecurities, and then their awareness of those insecurities allows them to confront those things, because our insecurities can sometimes hold us back. And so maybe you allow people to confront their insecurities and the ways in which those insecurities are holding them back. You help people to confront the more difficult parts of themselves. And it creates new understanding of themselves and maybe life in general. Heal. You help people heal. Also to break free of any chains, anything that's holding them back, keeping them stuck. You help them break the chains. And become freed. I'm also getting that you help them to see things from a different perspective as well. The trust card, this is the Fool card. You help people to trust in maybe the universe, spirituality, maybe trust in themselves. But more than any of that, I almost feel like you help people to trust in the process of life. Because I think that it's really important to remind ourselves when we're going through difficult times that feeling of difficulty, of sadness, of pain, it's not going to last forever. It's temporary. And so it's like just leaning into the ebbs and flows of life. Like, sure, sometimes you're going to feel real crummy, but other times you're going to feel really good. And it's all part of the natural process. And then Darkest Fears, this came out in the last reading as well. I think you help people to face their fears and maybe even see their fears from a more logical standpoint, because like a lot of the time our fears are not super based in reality. And so maybe you help people to see how they're holding themselves back with fears, with thoughts of doubt, things that scare them. You help people believe in themselves, and when people believe in themselves, they can succeed. And so that's like a big way that you inspire other people. You show people that it's okay to go towards the things that may feel impossible. Yeah. You show people that it's worth the journey. And I don't know why, but that's just all that's coming through for that message. I feel like maybe that's self-explanatory, maybe. Third eye chakra. You help people connect with their intuition. Maybe their psychic abilities. I feel like that sense of that finding the magic within and embracing that. You open people's third eyes because your third eye is open. You help people embrace that feeling of intuition, feeling of inner guidance. And then the Flow card, Wheel of Fortune, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying with maybe, was it the Darkest Fears part or the Trust card? One of those. Pretty much just leaning into the flow of life. You know, we're going to have some dark times. We're going to have some light times too. We're going to have some happy times. We're going to have some sad times. And all of it is beautiful because it's all part of the natural rhythm of life. We may not see the beauty in those difficult times, of course. But if we didn't experience those darker times, would we appreciate the lighter times? You know? Because it's like the comparison that makes it valuable. Like compared to, say if yesterday I was feeling really sad and today I'm feeling really happy. It's like, because I went through that day of sadness, I'm going to appreciate this day of happiness much more. Yeah. That's very beautiful. I really loved this reading. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that it resonated. If it did resonate, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time that I upload. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.